Good morning, Rabbi Westside. L'Aliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant by Theo Walters. I'm very proud of my grandson, Yeshayi Spiro, doing the Daf on Pesachim on the train to Manchester from London. Kind regards, London, England, Stamford Hill. By D. Cohen. Thank you plus recommendation. Shalom Rebelli. Thanks for inspiring me and thousands of others to learn more than we could have otherwise. It's one thing to inspire us to get started by giving out the free Gemaras. It's another thing to make it easy for us to keep coming back for another daf by making it so interesting Gishmak. On top of that, what really touches my heart is that you speak to everyone from all walks of life, regardless of background, shkafa or minhagim, in all parts of the world. May all be zoicha b'schus ha-Torah and b'schus of the achtus to be as goyel b'meheri Ramenu Amen. Which I do want to talk about towards the end of Shir. But be as goyel b'meheri Ramenu Amen. I was wondering if you have a central page where people can find all the programs that you do. I was looking on the website. Kids, we're working on it. One day, we'll have it all on the website. No, seriously, the Olam is working on the website for months. It's going to be a big hit. The Parsha, the Daf Yomi for kids, the different Chesed projects. Considering you love so much to get involved in Chesed, and from the stories you shared, the NDY family is on board to assist in levels that are unimaginable. I would like to suggest another idea. Perhaps the next project would be to help set Shidduchim, which we already worked on once before, maybe on the new website. After all, we're all family, and we all know someone that needs a Shidduch. I can't tell you that I thought this out in detail, but I'm happy to get involved, brainstorm, and do what I can do to get this thing moving forward. I do want to thank you personally, as there's no way that I'd be cruising through Shas with my extremely stressful work hours. I started the Ksubas kept falling off the bandwagon for days. By the way, this is the only email I'm reading today. By the time you made the Siyam, I only did about a third. By the time the Dharm came, you kind of got disciplined, Baruch Hashem, I'm pretty solid Nazir. And hoping to finish Ksubas by the time you make the Siyam on Nazir. All this would never have happened without you, Yeshakayach, keep the Achtus, and maybe Zoich to have Pesach with all of Klal Yisrael and Beis HaMikdash. Amen. Thank you, DC, Far Rockaway, New York. Today's winner, $50. Pesachim Daf Kuf Zayin. Here goes. No. I don't know why it's not going. Oh, I have to wait patiently. That's why. S. Seton. You know what that is? No, S. Seton just won $50. Rabbi Yisai, don't forget, here we are. We're by the, it's 7:20. We're about to start. We have to do the sponsors, but I want to remind the Olam about Saita. I truly believe that we could get 1,000 people to join Saita. We got 1,000 people to join Megillah, 1,000 people to join Tainus. Saita is no different, just as Gishmak, if not more. A little longer. It's 48 daf, which is very, very short for Masechta. It's a great time to start. Get them coming. Think about yourself if you did anything for that, because don't sit there, standing there and watch your friend go to the wayside. I'm serious. I walk home from shul and I see these people I know, they don't open up a sefer. I know it. Speak to them and this, you have to encourage them. The Koilel is sponsored by Anon Ymous from Lakewood. The second sponsor of the Koilel is by Reuven Klein in order of my daughter Eliza becoming a Kala to Tzvi Chaim NATO from Toronto. The Masechta is sponsored by Maaser. And the second sponsor of the Masechta is l'Aliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant by Anon Ymous. The first sponsor of the month, l'Aliyat Nishmat ben Yehuda, by his community, he was a Holocaust survivor who overcame many challenges. Inspired by his friends, inspired his family, friends, and entire community during his nearly 100 years in this world. Second sponsor of the month, Anon Ymous from Flatbush for continued bracha, mazel, and clarity. Third sponsor of the month, Landy Family, l'Aliyat Nishmat Chaim Yeshayi. Fourth sponsor, l'Aliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant. Chayim ben Ya'akov Shmuel Zechariah by his Westside friends. I actually saw in the Ami magazine, they put a thing in there, a big, large nichum. The fifth sponsor, l'Aliyat Nishmat Zechraya ben Moshe. And the Parnas of the day by our good friend, Yochanan Belsky. L'Aliyat Nishmat Avi Mori, HaRer Pנחas Aryeh ben Rav Doiv Ber Alevi, Zechariah Chav Zayin Adar. And the art of the month for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah, Rabbi Westside. Here we go. Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Well, we could start from a few lines from the bottom of Nun Amud Beis, the second line from the bottom. The word of the second word from the bottom, I have no idea, but you'll figure it out yourself. It's 2 lines. That we could do, I think. We could count 2. Maaser Rami Bar Chama. Yesterday, we were learning Rav Chisda Shita, that Rav Chisda holds that the days, pay attention here because you don't want to miss anything in the beginning. The days of the tzaras, a person becomes a Mitzayra, and here, let's just throw this on the board for a second. There are, maybe you could take that away, that Zoom thing. We're going to be talking about this a little bit. It's not that important, but it's kedai to get into our heads. When a person comes up with tzaras, he has some sort of splotch on his hand. By the way, I heard that, I don't want to mention their names because we've been poking fun of them a lot lately. But there's a certain group of people that are very machmir in a lot of different stuff, and they're machmir not to take off warts and stuff from their body because perhaps it's tzaras. Okay. Guy has a little splotch on his skin. He goes to the kohen. If the kohen knows what it is, then he becomes a muchlat. He becomes a mitzayra. Kick him out of the community, etc., etc. Until he becomes tar. And then he goes through the process of tar, which we saw. He brings 2 birds. He shaves. He's toivel. He shaves again after 7 days. But Yemei Hezger is when he's not even sure what's going on. He says, listen, I'm going to put you on hold over here. Let me figure out what's going on. Come back in a week. Comes back in a week. Again, he decides or doesn't decide. He can put him in again for another week. But the Yemei Hezgers, we're going to see, he's not a Matzar yet. He just doesn't know. The Kohen doesn't know. Yemei Chilutai is when he's a full-fledged Matzar. Yemei Sifroi is when he counts, once he shaves the first time and he brings the 2 birds and one they send away and one they shech and they put the blood. Then he counts 7 days. Safra, he counts 7 days. And he goes through another process at the end of the 7 days of shaving his entire body again for the second time. And then he's tar. He goes, brings karbanas the next day, tar. Fine. So while he's a Mitzayra, Rav Chisda says that all those days, let's say a guy is a Nazir for a year. A guy's a Nazir for a year. Middle of the year, he spoke Lashon Hara, he looks down, he has a few splotches, goes to the kohen, it's a process, who knows, 20 days until this, until that, comes back. What happens to those 20 days? Says Rav Chisda, those 20 days are part of the year of his Nazirus. He could count them towards his year. The Gemara now is going to bring rayas against Rav Chisda, and in fact, slug him up. He's done. Rav Chisda, checkmate. We don't hold like that. How do we disprove Rav Chisda? So there's a Mishnah coming up in 4 days, and we're going to go through it now. It's an interesting Mishnah. And it goes like this. If a person knows for sure that not only is he a Nazir, but he's also a Mitzayra, and he also went to a funeral and touched a dead person, how many times does he have to shave his head? Think about it. How many times do you have to shave your head if you're just a regular Nazir? And you became Tameh. A regular Nazir who became Tameh has to shave his head twice. Once for the Tumah, then he starts all over again. And then at the end, the Taira and Tumah. How many times does a Mitzayra shave his head, Rabbi Yisai? Twice. He shaves his head, waits 7 days, shaves again. So if you combine all these things together, how many times does this Mitzayra who became Tameh by a funeral, how many times does he go? How many times does he shave his head? He shaves his head 4 times. Twice for the Tzaras, once for the Tumah, and once for the Naziros. 4 times. Trying to see where... Oh, there's more here, that's why. Okay.
Why can you combine the two?
Very good. You cannot combine any shaving. That's the big yesod here in the sugya. One of the big yesodas. If I shave today, very good point. If I shave today because I'm tamei, it doesn't help me for my tzaras that I also have. So I have to shave for my tumah and then not tomorrow, I wait a certain amount of days, that we're going to see, and then you shave for your tzaras. If I shave for my tzaras today, it doesn't count towards my tumah, and it doesn't count towards my nazirus. So Meila, I have to shave 4 separate times. Let's take a look here for a second. So over here, this is Mr. Mitzayro. And I just threw this in again, so if anybody wants to see part of the long process. The ceremony, you bring 2 birds, it's Erez, Ezov, you shecht one, you take the blood, you put it in the cup with the special water from the mayon, and then you dunk the live bird into that cup, then you set him free. Take the blood, put it on his thumbs, on his toe, on his ear. It's a whole long process. The bottom line is in red. He shaves, he's toivel, and he waits 7 days and shaves again. 2 times he has to shave. And if he's also tamei, so here you have it. Shave number 1 for his mitzayra, shave number 2 for mitzayra, shave number 3 because he touched a dead person, so he's shaving because he's tamei, shave number 4 because he's tar. That's if it's a vadei nazir. But the Gemara is not even talking about this. The Gemara throws us, it's actually a Mishnah, throws us a little bit of a wrench to make it geshmak. What happens if 3 and 4 are just a suffix? I don't know if he touched a dead person. He went to a funeral, but he stayed kind of far away. It might have come next to him. I don't know. Maybe a guy touched the dead person and touched him. He doesn't know. He also doesn't know if he's a Matzayra. Doesn't know if he's a Matzayra. He has a suffix Matzayra. The Gemara is going to explain how it's possible. Matzayra, not today. In 4 days from now, we're going to do the sugya all over again. So if you don't get it today, there's another repeat soon. Huh? Yeah. What did I say? Oh. 1, 2, and 3 are suffix. Okay. So here it just shows you how it's done. If he's a mitzayra, he shaves. He waits 7 days to do the second shave. Then he waits another 7 days to become to shave for his tumah. Here's a big chiddush. It's not a big chiddush for us. We learned it, but because we don't do that much chazara, it might be a huge chiddush for us. How long does a person have to wait in order to shave? We all know 30 days. But in this particular case, we learned it a few times. Only 7 days because he's shaving for tumah. For tumah, all you need is 7 days. Okay, fine. We'll ask the Shasi then this question. Maybe they'll get it. Tumah, teglachas tumah only needs a 7-day growth. Then he has to wait 30 days to have his full growth of hair. So Mela, he waits 30 days. What do we have total over here? If he's a vadai tamei mace and a vadai mitzayra, comes out that he had to do a total of 1.5 months. 14 days for the tzaras and the mace, and 30 days for the nazirus, 1.5 months. What happens is, if he's a suffix tamei and a suffix mitzayra, so on the bottom we put 3. This took a very long time to make these charts, just to figure out how to do it and how to depict it. It should be easy to understand. Could this individual, he became a suffix mitzayra today and a suffix tamei mace today, and he just started his 30-day nazirus. Can he shave his head today? Answer is no. That's what you see on the right side. It says teglachas mitzayra with the X through it. No. Why? Because maybe he's a Nazir. Maybe he's not tamei and he's not a mitzayra, and a Nazir cannot shave his head. So he must wait 30 days. He waits 30 days. On day 30, there's 3 possibilities. Either he's a Nazir who just finished his nazirus, either he's a mitzayra and he needs to shave for his tzaras, or either he just touched a dead person and he needs to shave for that. So he shaves. No. He shaves 1 time. Now, it's not enough. He's going to have to shave 4 times, and we're explaining why. The first time, after 30 days, he shaves once. because Mimanav Shach, he needs a shave. He couldn't shave on day one because maybe he's a real Nazir. And now he's shaving. Maybe he's a Nazir, maybe he's Tamei, maybe he's a this. He's for sure Nazir, right? So he couldn't, yeah. No, but if he was for sure a Mitzaira, then he could shave. If he just came out of his tzaras, let's say he could shave on day one. But because we don't know that he's a Mitzaira, and we don't know that he's a Tmei Meis, and he's a for sure Nazir, so he has to wait 30 days until he's done with his Naziros.
If he was a Nazir shitting on, then he would just wait till 60 days and then start this process then. Right?
Yeah, we're going to see the next case. One thing at a time. Here we go. Now, after 30 days, look what happened. We're going to get rid of one thing only. We're going to get rid of the suffix Tumah. And we're going to say that the first time that he shaved was actually for his tzaras. And Memela, the second time he shaved is for his tzaras. Now, he couldn't shave in middle of those days because he's a Nazir. He might have shaved for his Tumah, and he needs 30 days now of Naziros. So he couldn't shave in middle and say, oh wait, a Mitzaira, for the second Tiglachas of a Mitzaira, he only has to wait 7 days. No. In this case, because he's a Nazir, he might be a Nazir, so he has to wait a full 30 days. The Tiglachas Tahara, if you see...
He might be a Nazir. He's definitely a Nazir.
No. He might have been done with Naziros.
After the first 30.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about after... Now I'm holding the second 30.
No, after the second 30.
The first 30 he shaved because either way, either he's done with his Naziros, he's starting his tzaras, or he's done with his tumah. So he shaves. Now, he has to wait another 30 days and he shaves again. Why not 7 days? Because maybe he's a real Nazir now. Why did the screen just go off?
But he just finished 30 days.
But maybe it might have been for his Nazir, for his Mitzaira.
But for Mitzvah, they wait 7 after that.
No, Mitzaira, no. Only for Mace you wait 7. For Mitzaira you have to wait. The whole thing you have to start, he needs a shaving of 30 days. Right. No, but maybe it's for Mitzaira. And for Mitzaira you have to wait 30 days. On the tzad that he shaved for a Mitzaira, and now he's starting his Naziros on day 30, and you have to wait 30 days. You can't shave in the middle of the Naziros. But we're going to assume now, what you'll see is that the suffix Naziros Tahara just remains throughout. We're not going to erase it ever. All 4 times, and at the end, the final shaving is actually 4 Naziros. So now that he shaved once for his Mitzaira, he shaves a second time for Mitzaira. Lo Levanta? No. A Mitzaira shaves twice. So let's assume that he shaved after 30 days on Aleph, where it says Aleph, and now he has to shave a second time. But he can't wait 7 days because he might be in the middle of his Naziros. It might be in the middle of Naziros.
So the second 30
he didn't get. No. That's what you're not understanding. Time out. When he shaved after 30 days, we don't know what the shave was for. It could be for his Naziros, but it could also be for his Mitzaira. And it could also be for his Mace, which we're going to see soon that eventually we're going to go back to Tumas Mace. We're going to get him a shave for Tumas Mace. Because you cannot mix up shavings. Like he asked before. It's one shave for one thing. You decide what it's for. On the tzad. It's a suffix. Maybe it's a Mitzaira. So let's assume that he shaved for a Mitzaira. So now the second shaving will be for his tzaras. And now he's done with tzaras. He's no longer Mitzaira. If he's no longer Mitzaira, what's the halacha? He could start eating kachim. Okay, he could eat kachim.
But why did he cross out something Nazir too much in the chart in the middle there?
I hear. We'll get to it. Fine. Next. What just happened? Am I going backwards? I got to get used to these arrows. Now, after he got rid of his tzaras, now he has to wait another 30 days because he's possibly starting over his Naziris all over again. He needs 30 days of hair growth. And Mitzaira is gone. Shalom Aleichem, he never got rid of his tumah. What if he was tamei from day one? He never shaved for that. He got rid of his tumah all the way in the beginning because he went to the mikvah. By the way, we're not even talking about the tumah of a tmei mace. Because he might have gone to the mikvah for tzaras and that might have worked. That does work. You go to mikvah once to get rid of a lot of things, for sheretz, tumas mace, whatever. But he never shaved for it. And the 2 first shavings we're using for tzaras. The 3rd shaving is going to be for the tumah of a mace, the suffix. And now he has to start all over again and become a Nazir again. Because so now he does 30 days. Oh, I don't know.
Why not 7?
No. Time out. No, explain. No. To shave. Here, let me just explain what Noam is saying, but I don't want to confuse people. In order to shave for Tumah, all you need is 7 days. After you shaved for Tumah, to shave for Tahara, you need 30 days. So in step 3, in shave 3, he shaved for Tumah. It's not enough to wait 7 days now. Now you need 30 days. The only time you wait 7 days is to get to Tumah. If a guy goes into the Beis HaKfaris, to get to the shave of Tumah, you need 7 days. Once you shave for Tumah, to get to the shave of Tahara, to finish off in Nazirus, you need a 30-day growth. That you need for Nazirus. So now we're holding in shave 4. Shave number 4 will go towards his Nazirus finally, and that's a total of 120 days. Okay? What about the Korbanos? The Korbanos we're not going to be discussing at all today. That's the discussion on Daf Samach, Nuntes Samach. Over there we're going to go through the Korbanos, and we're going to go through all this fun again and explain which Korbanos he brings when, and how do you shave your head misafik? Isn't it Issa Deraisa to shave your head, etc. Let's see it inside. Maaser Rami Barcham all the way in the bottom. Again, I'm trying to disprove Rav Chizda, who says that the days of Nazirus work towards his chayv that he has for the days of Mitzayra, Tzaras, work towards his days of Nazirus. So if a guy's a Nazir for a whole year, and he was a Mitzayra in the middle, took up a bunch of days, a month worth of days, he doesn't have to do 13 months of Nazirus, all he has to do is 12 months of Nazirus, because we count all those days that he didn't know it's flying with his skin, and he's going to the kayan, and he's toiveling, and he's shaving, and all that goes towards his Nazirus. He doesn't have to do any more days. That's Rav Chizda Shita. Now, as Rami Bar Chama, based on this Gemara, you see not like Rav Chizda. Nazir shayitame b'safik and muchla b'safik. He's a Nazir, but he's also Suffolk that he went to a funeral, Suffolk if he's a Mitzayra. Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Oichel bekachim lachar shishim yom. After 60 days, in other words, 2 shaves. After 2 shaves, he got rid of what? The tzaras. He's oichel kachim. V'shoyse yayin u'metamel mesim. How many times does he have to shave now in order to get rid of his naziros? Another 2 times. Once for the tumah, once for the tahara. That's another 60 days. Then he could drink wine and he could be metamel mesim. Lachar me'av esrim yoim. In other words, we have to take on all the sfeikis, all the chumras. Today is Reb Pinchas Scheinberg's yahrzeit. And I thought it was very befitting because he took upon himself the famous tzitzis. He was machmer, he had a daughter that was sick supposedly, I don't know the exact story, but he made a neder that he'll be machmer on all the types of tzitzis, etc. Says Reb Pinchas Scheinberg an amazing thing. He says that when a person is machmer on a doiraisa, like he was on tzitzis, that's an inyan. There's an inyan to be machmer on a doiraisa. But when a person is machmer on a bin adam l'chaveroi, that's a doiraisa. The Torah says to be machmer on a bin adam l'chaveroi, so every time you're machmer on it, you're mekayim a doiraisa. Every time you're machmer on a tzitzis, you're doing an inyan, not a doiraisa. He said a hiddur?
I think that's my elevator.
Really? A hiddur. Very nice. A hiddur. I like it. It's mefurish in the elevator. I got it from the elevator. I was just hoping nobody else has an elevator. They have these little sheets that they put. Thought it's givaldic. I got caught. No, we're going to see today if you have to say B'Shem Amroi or not. I got it from the elevator in the name of Reb Pinchas Scheinberg. Reb Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg. That's how they call him? Reb Yankiv Yisrael Kanievsky. Nobody calls him like that.
Everyone calls him.
You went to Yeshiva, fine.
Everyone calls him.
Reb Pinchas Scheinberg, not Reb Chaim Pinchas. Oh, okay.
Everyone.
I guess I'm not a someone. I'm not everyone.
His wife called him Chayim.
Chaim Pinchas, you know.
Everyone calls him.
Got it. Okay.
When he's talking about it, say his name.
Weiter. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Li neder. Anyway, so Reb Pinchas Scheinberg said, Chaim Pinchas. Okay, listen to this, Rabbi Yisai. Here we go. Next case. It's basically the same case all over again, but instead of 30 days, it's a year. So let's do the cheshbon of ourselves. A guy. Here we go. Same chart, same thing. The only thing I changed here is instead of 30 days, it says Shana. So a guy accepted upon himself in a zerus for a full year. But now he doesn't know if he's a Metzora or if he touched a dead person. Could he shave on day one of that year? No, because maybe he's a Nazir. And a Nazir cannot shave, so he has to wait the whole year. When he's done with the year, he has 3 reasons why he could shave today. Either he's done with his Nazirus, or he's done with his Tumah, or he's done with the step 1 of Tzaras. Step 1 of Tzaras. So he shaves. He can't do anything for the next year because maybe he just started his Nazirus all over again. So he waits another year. When the year is over, he shaves for his Tzaras. Nachamal. Then he waits another year. When he's done with that year, he's going to shave for his Tumah. And when he's done with that year, he's going to shave for his Tahara. Sometimes it's 70 years, his Kabbalah, and then he has to wait 70 years per shaving. Depends what his Kabbalah was. Ask the Gemara, Givaldik Kasha. Vani v'tani Allah. Bemed dvar mamurim b'nazirus mu'etes. Al b'nazirus b'shana. But if he accepted upon himself a nazirus of a whole year, oichel b'kachim. By the way, Tzaras comes from Lashon Hara. How come today we don't have Lashon Hara? Tzaras. We have a lot of Lashon Hara. So I heard once, because when a person became a Metzora, they took him out of the machna. He had to be alone. And then he would think about it and reflect and do tshuva. Today, we would all be mechutz lamachna and nobody would reflect because everybody's there. A lot of fabrengen. Says the Gemara, Aval ben Nazirus b'ashana oichel b'kachim lachash shtei shanim. It takes 2 years to get rid of the tzaras, and it takes 2 years to get rid of the Nazirus. Ask the Gemara a very simple question. According to Rav Chisda, the days of the tzaras are good towards his Nazirus. So let's think about it out loud here. The first 2 years that he's waiting to shave for his tzaras, they actually add up towards his Nazirus. He was supposed to be a Nazir for a full year. He filled his obligation. He didn't shave. He didn't drink wine for a full year. It was part of the first 2 years. He was a Nazir in part of those 2 years. Just what? He never shaved. So let him shave after 30 days. 2 years. Second year, after 30 days, let him shave. And then, though, he'll have to do 1 year after that for his real Nazirus. Okay? So basically what we have is 3 years and 30 days. Why does the Gemara say 4 years? 4 years is only if he got 0 for his Nazirus. But if he got full Nazirus time, like Rav Chisda says, it should be 3 years and 30 days, let's say inside. And here's the chart. Now, why does he need another full year afterwards? Let's talk about it for a second here. We'll see inside. Look at the chart just for 1 second. He got 2 years done. Everybody understands this amount. He got 2 years. He shaved twice. And we said it was for what? for his tsaras. Now, all he needs to do is wait 30 days. And the because 30 days is for the next shave, for his tumas meis. He has to do, it's a suffix, but he has to, maybe he's a regular Nazir. That'll take care of after the 30 days. Let him first shave, first tumas meis. And tumas meis, what does tumas meis do? Tumas meis gets rid of everything before. If in fact he was a tummy meis, it's soiser akol. So if it's soiser akol, all he has to do is one more year after that shave. 2 years for tzaras. He waits now 30 days to shave. He'll shave, or 7 days for tummy meis, whatever, but he'll wait 30 days just in case it's for his Nazirus, and he'll shave after 30 days, so it's 2 years and 30 days. But if he's taka tmei meis, hold on a second, listen guys, you're gonna miss something. If he's really a tmei meis, then he gets rid of all the Nazirus beforehand, to soiser hakol. So let him just do one more year afterwards, for a total of how many? 3 years, 30 days. Why in the world does the Gemara say 4 years? From the fact that the Gemara says 4 years, that means that 0 days from the first 2 years go towards his Nazirus. You don't get any credit. Now Rav Chisda says you get credit. If you get credit, it shouldn't be 4 years, it should be 2 years, 30 days, plus another year. I'm just pointing that out because when the Gemara says 3 years and 30 days, it doesn't mean 1, 2, 3, 30 days. It means 1 year, 2 years, 30 days, and then 1 year.
Counts even if you're a twin.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like
No,
on the tzad you were tmei meis, then it doesn't count. Then you do a whole year.
You have to do another year. That it didn't count, then you have to do the year after the 30 days.
Says Gemara. Let's go because we're running out of time here. I want to do the sugya nice and slow because it's a tough one, and then we're going to move. It's very easy on Amud Beis. And if it's true that the days he gets credit for those days, we're going to do the sugya again at Daf Yomi test. Don't worry about it. Why do you need 4 years? 3 years and 30 days is enough. So this is a long raya, and it has kavachoimers and things, but the raya is really on Amud Beis. Let's see. I know that if a person is a tmei meis, when a tmei meis, you don't get any credit. Where am I? Here. Here's a pasuk. It's a mefurish pasuk that the first days they fall away. You lose everything if a person becomes a tmei meis. So that I know. You have to restart your count. You're a Nazir for a year. You have to start over from today's day one. So, as we said, there's 3 types of days by a Nazir. The green one is, I don't know what he is, so he's green, he's still tar, he's still not a Nazir. A Metzaira, sorry. Yimei Chiluta is when the kind decides that he is a Metzaira. So Yimei Chiluta Minayin, how do I know that when he is a full-fledged Metzaira, it doesn't count towards his days? And that's the raya against Rav Chisda. Like these words. Just the Gemara is going to go through the whole process, and there's a little bit of process of elimination, not a big one. How do you know that Yimei Chiluto does not count towards the days of his Nazirus, which Rav Chisda said it does count? V'dinu, I have a kavachomer, Yimei tumim megalech, or maybe carbon. When a person is a tmei meis, he shaves his head and he brings a carbon, Yimei Chiluto, megalech, or maybe carbon. Look, they're equal, they're similar. They have the same halacha. They both have to shave and bring a carbon. What? A Nazir is a tmei meis. Yeah. Just like when a Nazir becomes tamei, you can't count those days because it's say yiplu. Maybe I have a great raya. I'll just compare a Metzaira to a Nazir who's tamei. Says Gemara loy. Very different. When a Nazir becomes tamei, he has to cancel everything beforehand. It's very, very chamor. You don't cancel the original days, but it's still the days of the tzaras don't count. Okay, so now I have a kavachomer, and this stays. Here, remember the guy in the graveyard? We had a sugi about him. This guy, he's sitting in a graveyard in a cemetery in a basic forest, and he accepts upon himself Nazirus. What's the halacha? He doesn't have to shave. But he has to wait 7 days of tahara because he's tummy now, and he also has to bring a carbon. No. Does he have to bring a carbon? No carbon. Sorry, no carbon. But he has to wait 7 days. And he could still use his hair. He had 3 inches of hair. And he was in the basic kvaras. He started off his Nazirus in the basic kvaras. When it's 30 days later and he has to shave his hair, he's going to use those 3 inches that he had in the basic kvaras. Those days that he had to wait to become tahar are not part of his Nazirus. When a person is a mitzayra, 100% a mitzayra, the Kohen said, you're a mitzayra. He has to shave his whole entire body. Then start all over again and have 30 days worth of hair. So in other words, the 3 inches of hair of a mitzayra don't work for the Nazirus that he has. Like Kalshkin, certainly the days don't count. Okay? We're just going through the brayso to bring a raya here. So, as we said before, we have the different types. You have Yemei Sifra. That what's Sfarai. He's counting now 7 days. He shaved his entire body. He counts 7 days of shaving. How do I know that those days don't count towards his Nazirus? Vidinu. Daf Nun Vav Amud Beis. Ma Yemei Chilutoi Tarim Tiglachas Af Yemei Sifroi. Just like when he's a muchlad, he's definitely a mitzayra, he has to shave, so this guy also has to shave, right? A mitzayra shaves twice. We just established that when he's definitely a mitzayra, those 7 days, or the days that he's a definitely mitzayra, don't go towards his total count of Nazirus. So anyway, this is not like Rav Chizda, this is very bad for Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda says all these days count towards his Nazirus. This is Hatzlacha, Arvei ben Aliza Simcha Shena Masha and Aliza Simcha Shena Masha ba Bracha. Hatzlacha v'the Shir, the members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. Yochanan Belsky is Geroi. Yochanan Belsky is Geroi. His Geroi is when he is, the Kohen doesn't know exactly. So we said that is very green, right? The Kohen doesn't know if he's a mitzvah or not. Sit there and I'll check it out in a week. Yochanan is Geroi, maybe those days shouldn't count towards Nazirus. V'adenoisen cholot mitama mishkav v'moishav. So here's that's not this, but there's mishkav v'moishav, right? So if a guy is a cholot, he's 100% mitzayra. He sits on a top mattress, even though he had nothing to do with the bottom mattress. The bottom mattress is tamei. Anida, Zav, Zava, all these people, cholot, mitzayra, they sit on a couch. The whole couch, everything becomes tamei. So, and also somebody who is not 100%, the Kohen doesn't know if he's a mitzvah or not. He's green. Yet, there's a special halacha that if he sits on a top mattress, 10 mattresses below him are all tamei. And we said that when he's 100% the mitzvah, the days of his tzaras do not count towards Nazirus. Don't worry if you didn't understand the word here because we're getting to the raya. Amris loy, no. No, you don't bring any raya from hezger to chilot. When a person is 100% of mitzayra, he has to shave his entire body. A person who's just put in isolation for a week to see what's going on with his tzaras doesn't do tiglachas umevi karban. Because it's so chomer, he has to shave his entire body, so the days don't count towards Nazirus. He took a freeze from the Nazirus. I love that word. But when the Kohen just said, let me check it out in a week, sit here, isolate yourself for a week, you don't shave your body, it's not so chomer. He doesn't bring any korbanos afterwards, not so chomer. So you could still say, hey, this guy was a full-fledged Nazir the entire time. Let's count his days, his week, his 2 weeks, whatever he's away. Now, this is the bottom line here. Mikan Amru, Yemei Sfaroi, Yemei Gmaroi, Ein Oilam Min Aminyan. So if we go back here, the two bad ones, when he's definite Nazir, and he's counting from the first shave to the second shave, Yemei Sifroi, those days do not count towards his Nazirus, not like Rav Chizda. But Yemei Hezger, they count. Right? It's green, he's not even in Mitzvah yet. The Hezger days do count. The bottom line is, it's not like Rav Chizda, but the Gemara just proves it 100%. You made a kavachaymer from somebody that accepts upon himself Nazirus in the Beis HaKfaris. What's the situation? B'mai, what kind of Nazirus did he accept upon himself? From the time that he became a Metzora, you only have a little bit of Nazirus left. How much time? 30 days. Wait a minute. A Metzora, what's the process of Metzora? How many days does it take to get out of the Tzaras? Minimum 7 days, and all the added when you go to the Kayan. Let's even call it 7 days if you want to be Mamish Mekel. It's more, but let's say. But he only has 30 days left. So obviously, you need 30 days of hair. And he's a Metzora and he's shaving his hair after 7-10 days. So he has to start all over again. Of course, those days don't count towards his Nazirus. He has to shave his entire body. And he has to start all over again. We can't be talking about that case, that it's only 30 days. So what's the case? Just a basic logic here. Habin and Gidul Seir. Ella Lav ben Aziz Meruba. He has a year left. Viktani. It says Mefurish in the Braisa that the days of Nazirus do not count toward the days of Metzora do not count towards the days of Nazirus. Alma Shekmate on Rav Chizda Loisalkin Leishmamina. You see that the days of Tzaras don't add up 4 days of a Nazir. So if a Nazir was a Nazir for a year and he had a situation of Tzaras for a whole month in the middle of the year, he has to do another month at the end of his Nazirus. At the end of the year, he has to do 13 months total of not drinking wine, etc. Says the Heilige Mishnah. Very, very easy from here. This is L'Refuas Avar Menashe ben Chana Bracha Amar Rabbi Eliezer Mishum Rabbi Yeshua. Pay attention. This is the key word here of the whole sugya. He said it in the name of Rabbi Yeshua. Who's Rabbi Yeshua? Throughout Shas, it's Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya. How many Rabbi Yeshuas are there in Shas, Rabbi Westside? I checked this out. You're not going to believe it. How many Reb Chaim Kanievskis are there in a generation? 1. How many Rebbe Yeshuas are there? If I told you that there's 42 Rebbe Yeshuas, 42 in Shas, I don't know, there might have been more. 42 different Rebbe Yeshuas. Yeshua ben Chananya, Yeshua ben Psaira, etc., etc. But he said in the name of, it's Rebbe Lazar basically that says the name of Yeshua. Any tumah from this list right over here, we had this in the Mishnah that it's such a severe tumah that a Nazir has to shave right away. If he's with a tarvid rekev, remember we had the whole sugya of the dust and the shidra, the gogoilas, a limb, a chatzi lug dam, not a revi, is a much bigger shir, etzim kisayra that we said only if he touches it, but all those other things in oil, great. All those things, if a Nazir is tummy with that, if he walks in the Beis HaMikdash, he's chayiv kares. Chayiv misa. And if you go to the list that we had yesterday, S'chacha is price. You guys remember that? The tree that had a tum underneath, but it was only one branch. The stones that came out. Beis HaPras, we have a field that's only, we don't know, it was plowed through Eretz Am, Chutz La'aretz. All those are the Rabbanans. Goyla, what's Goyla? Doifek. Is that a Rabbanan or Doiraisa, Rabbi Say? Doiraisa. Anyway, the rest of the list are Doiraisas, but it's not a severe tumah. I don't know what just happened. Oh, this list right over here. Anything from this list says the Tanakama in the name of Rabbi Yeshua. If the Nazir became Tameh with one of these, he doesn't get kares. Amar Meir, what are you talking about? Bam kasha. Rabbi say, if a Nazir who doesn't have to shave after touching a dead rat, he doesn't have to shave. Because that everybody knows that you only shave when you touch a dead person. Tumas meis. Oil meis. Tumas meis. A dead rat, not, but it's certainly a tumah d'oraisa. And what happens if a person touches a rat and then walks into the Beis Hamikdash? Chayiv kares. Says Remeir, why would somebody who touches a goylel and a doifik, d'oraisis, revius hadam, d'oraisa, oil roivat somais, d'oraisa? How is it possible that that's less? It originated from a human being. How is it possible that's less than a sheretz? Says the Gemara. Rebbe Lezer, this is the simplest sugi ever. Rebbe Lezer Mishum Rebbe Yeshua Gomer Law. What he heard it from Yeshua ben Chananya. But Mishum Rebbe Yeshua Bar Mamel Gomer Law. He heard it from somebody else, another Rebbe Yeshua, but a Bar Mamel. The Sanya Omer Rebbe Lezer Kshalachti Lardaskio Matasis Rebbe Yeshua ben Peser Roish. His name was Peser Roish. So the Chassam Sofer, no one ever named anyone two names in those days. Yaakov Avinu was Yaakov. They called him Yisrael Yisrael, not Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky. Yaakov Yisrael Avinu. Nobody ever had two names. So they bring from here. Here's somebody that had two names. They want to say it's Ben Beseira. Fine, one name. So it's an interesting Maaser, but no time. When the Rambam they came out with his Svarim and people were very against him, so they sent one of the Rishonim to check him out, and he heard the Rambam saying to Peser, he said, Peser, go get me wine. He said, oh. He has a Goyish slave, and he's telling the guy, Yain Nesach. And then he realized that Peser was a Jew. Fine. Says the Gemara, asking Peser. Roish, that was his name, Peser Roish. Some say that it's Beseira. And this Rabbi said we could fly through it because it's word for word that we learned in the Mishnah. If it's the first Mishnah of those tumas that you have to shave, you go into the Beis Hamikdash, you are chayiv kares. And if it's from the second list that you don't shave, you're not chayiv. And in our Mishnah it said it was Remeir, but he told him, Al tezu kal misharetz. It shouldn't be any worse than a sharetz. Amarti loy. What do you mean? I heard this from Yeshua bar Memel, not from Yeshua bar Chananya. Amar li hein. Kacham li Yeshua bar Memel, Mishum Yeshua, kol tuma min ameis, and now it's going to repeat itself. Kol tuma min ameis, shanos megalecha le, chayav aleh mishum bias migdash. V'chol tuma min ameis, shanos megalecha le, en chayav aleh mishum bias migdash. Havei. So the Gemara says, oh, so it's Yeshua bar Memel. Says Gemara, Havei mishum Yeshua bar Memel gomer lo. You're right. He got it from Yeshua bar Memel, not Yeshua bar Chananya. Amro. So they said from here. If I heard it from one person, who heard it from another person, I heard from Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein, I read it in Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein's Sefer, who he heard it from his shver, Rabbi Yashiv. From his brother-in-law, Rabbi Chaim Kanevsky. His shver, Rabbi Yashiv. I don't have to say I saw it in Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein's Sefer. All I say is the top guy. I say the top person. So I say, Kadmoi Basroi Amrinon, you say the top and the bottom. Mitzia Loi Amrinon. Let's just finish until the Mishnah. Omer Nachman Alavlor, only time in Shas. Kachem Kulanim Rabbi Yosha, Shekibo Ma'abo, Shekibo Ma'zugois.
Afanana mitanino.
Omer Nachman Yitzchok, Afanana mitanino. Very good, thank you. We almost didn't make a siyum there. Omer Nachman Alavlor, Kachem Kulanim Rabbi Yosha, Shekibo Ma'abo, Shekibo Ma'zugois. That's right. No, here, this is the raya. Shekiblu min hanavim halacha leMoshe Sinai. B'zoreya sheves v'charlo b'shnayim shleshim koymois. The Tosfos takes this out and says it's a different story. It's a case of a person who planted two types of wheat, a darker and a lighter wheat, and he depends if he made one pile out of the two, then he only has to do one payah. And if he did two piles out of the two, then he has to do two payas. The bottom line is, V'ilu, Yeshua, V'kolev, Loi, Kachashiv, and he doesn't bring everybody in between, so you only say the first one and the last one, Shma Mino, it's a great raya. Shma Rabbi Yisai, have a wonderful day.